Hi, I'm Ben with JP Enterprises here at Triggercon 2019. We've got our booth set up, got a lot of people stopping by. We're really excited to be here, and wanted to show you guys a little bit about what we're working with and who we are, what JP Enterprises does, and where we came from. JP Enterprises has been around for a little over 27 years, and our main focus is on quality products, quality materials, and really huge advances in how those firearms, how the firearms are able to work. We do everything all the way from your top-end competitive kind of race events where speed is all that matters, all the way to law enforcement or military, getting into the special forces, full suppressed setups, kind of to hell and back kind of operations. And JP does that full gambit. I'll kind of show through here a range of products, a little bit about what we've got at Triggercon here, and this is a very, very small sampling about what we do, so it'll be a little bit limited on that end, but we'll start right now with a new product, and I think it's worthwhile to show right off the bat, just because of how excited everyone's been about it and the feedback we've got. This is a 9mm barrel. It's our 5.5-inch barrel with a aluminum sleeve over the top of it to get you, and it's pinned and welded, so you get you that permanent 16-inch overall length, but in an extremely lightweight setup. And again, it's only a 5.5-inch barrel, so you got to be able to get and clean the crown, just the little innovative things, and making sure that we're covering all the aspects, not just providing the product, but making sure that you can maintain it to be able to get the best performance. So access to that crown, nice threaded sleeve, we can put that right back on there, seals everything up, and keep on going. So we'll set this off to the side here. Another big thing we've released here is our silent captured spring system for the 9mm, which is a short stroke system. So it further reduces the rearward travel of that bolt and has it return back into battery quicker. Ultimately, the result of this is less dot movement downrange, so you're able to have quicker follow-up shots. Very, very nice. Now, when we originally released the short stroke system, it prevented the bolt from going behind the bolt catch, so you lost that last round hold open feature or the ability to manually lock the bolt back with that bolt catch. And now we've just released our new 9mm bolts that have a feature on them to allow that last round hold open or manual bolt lock back with the short stroke system. So you've regained all those functions. Even though most competitive shooters, if they shot to lock back, they know they screwed up, but it's nice when everything that's on the gun works as it should. So there's another couple options there. Now, I'll quick touch on, the silent captured spring systems for the 9mm. It's probably one of the widest range of options that we have in any of the silent captured spring systems. So there's a lot of questions that come out depending on what overall weight you want to do, whether you want to do short stroke, and it all comes down to power factor and ammo, what you're running, and making sure to match what kind of recoil you want, impulse you want with the mass of the components and the power factor of the ammo. So, we're always happy to help people get through and get the best option there. Still got our Gen 2 silent captured spring systems, so not a new product, but there is a ton going on with them. A lot of people ask about tunability with them. There's really not a much better tunable buffer system on the market, not to mention reducing or eliminating any of that spring scraping noise and the twang, but the fact that you can go anywhere from basically a 3-ounce carbine buffer all the way up to a 5.4-ounce H3 style mass buffer system for your small frame or large frame AR, on top of the different spring rates that we have. So huge tunability. So whether you're running an adjustable gas block and you have that gas regulation, or whether you're just depending on mass regulation, that silent captured spring system's got the setup for you. Adjustable gas blocks, as we mentioned, a lot of different options there, and we've been moving more and more into the click detent style gas blocks, making sure you have nice fine tunability, because if you have too big of steps in there, you're not going to get the tune you want, so you got to have that. Classic muzzle brakes, kind of right below there. These came out just a few years ago, our newer 3-port design, very, very efficient, made to fit into that 1-inch by 3-inch box for some of the limited classes. Large profile comps, recoil eliminators. There's really no better muzzle brake for reducing muzzle rise than the recoil eliminator. If the class the style of shooting you're doing, if the class that you're shooting in allows you to run it, you will not see anything better. There's been some testing out there. The Precision Rifle blog did a little review on a ton of muzzle brakes, and that one came out on top for minimizing, the small amount of movement off target after taking the shot. I'm going to get into, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple of the bolt carriers, and I'll even mention, when we talk about quality and materials and things like that, I'll even show you some of the small components here, just at least point to, like the cam pin. You know, it's one of those components, everyone's going to overlook it, but ultimately we're making our own cam pin, and we've got some additional features in there to help make it run better, last longer. But ultimately, we got tired of the mil-spec style cam pins, or what should have been a mil-spec cam pin made by another manufacturer, being undersized or being out of spec. Allowing too much movement on the bolt within the bolt carrier when it shouldn't be rocking back and forth. So it's another one of those spots where we come out with a superior product held to the proper tolerances so that you get the fit and function that you're expecting. Little items like a firing pin retaining pin for a 308 instead of the little nail head design that fall out and get lost in the grass. Very simple, not exactly a complicated item, but it's another one of those little bits and pieces that make the difference in the firearm overall. And you combine them with other, you know, larger, beautiful components. If the little bits and pieces inside don't do what they're supposed to do, the bigger parts can't do what they need to do. So anywhere from a low mass bolt carrier, and actually make an aluminum ultra low mass bolt carrier for both the small frame and large frame, but from low mass all the way up into, again, that variable mass setup where we're able to increase the overall mass of the system, get that mass regulation you need, but also increase the dead blow hammer effect because we're increasing the buffering mass there on the tail of the bolt carrier. Again, you can change those buffer weights out to change the overall mass that you're providing to the system. Very, very tunable. There's no better setup for running suppressed. Reliability is phenomenal on that. And so this was one of the ultralight bolt carriers I was mentioning. So this is for the small frame. This is about 3.7 ounces, so it is incredibly lightweight. I like to think of it as kind of that NHRA top fuel dragster of the bolt carriers. Incredible performance, but you do want to keep it well lubricated and cleaned. It's going to have a little bit shorter life expectancy, of course, than say a stainless carrier, but the performance you get out of it is well worthwhile. Basically, it feels like you're shooting a 22 long rifle, maybe a 22 Magnum with just a louder bang. So phenomenal feel on this. We have a large frame aluminum ultra low mass bolt carrier, but it's going to be kind of like that variable mass carrier where it actually has some of the ring weights on the tail end of it for the 308 version. Again, to provide that extra dead blow hammer effect that's really useful in that large frame platform. All right, and so then we'll go ahead and talk about triggers a little bit. And we've got a few different setups. A couple of them are a little bit newer. So we've got our component triggers with the individual components in there, adjustable. You can set them up, very easy to do. Gives an amazing feel out of there, either in a curved trigger or the roller trigger. And then the new trigger, the modular trigger on the top here with the stainless steel housing. So this is a drop-in style trigger. So for those out there that don't want to have to do an installation, they don't want to have to worry about doing any adjustments, this is a drop-in assembly that we've tuned at the factory. So all you have to do is drop it in, and it comes with our adjustable safety. It's going to be an ambidextrous safety. You can get it in a curved trigger, a flat blade trigger, or the roller trigger. But you drop it in there, you're going to tighten up a couple of set screws at the back of the housing here. And I'll move that hammer out of the way so you can kind of see those at the back of the housing. You just tension those, and that's it. You put your anti-walk pins in, and that's all you need to do. It's a very, very easy installation. It's a very simple setup. Gives you a beautiful single-stage trigger. And again, this one does have replaceable trigger shoes, so you can switch between that curved trigger, flat trigger, or roller trigger. And also the modular trigger is the only one that we have that has the colored trigger shoes for the flat blade or the curved trigger. So you can do black, silver, red, or blue. Well, thanks for joining us here at JP Enterprises at Triggercon 2019. This has been a phenomenal event. We're excited to have you here. And if you have any questions on JP products, jump to our website at jprifles.com or give us a call and we'd be happy to help you out.